Okay, everyone. Hold on one second. Okay. Well, hold on. I'm so very sorry, everyone. I am running off of my laptop, and I did not realize I'm doing everything that I can to drop the frames, not the frame rate, but everything I can to keep the frame rate up. And that includes exiting YouTube on the laptop. Okay, wow, live chat. Okay, is everyone good? Is it? Yes, resolution's really low. Yes, 480p, I know. Okay. Okay, can everyone hear me? Let's start with that. Okay, sweet. I'm trying to watch it on my phone on my own. Let's see, on 4G. So it might get a little choppy on me, but I want to make sure it's good for everyone else. Okay. All right. Sweet. Okay. What I'm going to try to do is try to watch live chat on my phone, like I said. Not really able to do anything else on my laptop without it just completely messing up the stream. My network's fine. Let's see. It's definitely not. It's 100% my laptop. So as long as everyone's happy and okay, and it's not cutting out a whole bunch. All right. Okay. Okay. Unfortunately, for the past hour or so, which is why I'm late, decided to run some tests, kind of streaming on another account, just a fake account, and going through with people in the Discord, trying to see how good it is. And yeah, basically the laptop is struggling, to say the least. And that's my fault. I ran a couple tests yesterday. Excuse me. And unfortunately, I thought everything was fine. I had planned on worst case scenario, we bump it down to 720p. Well, we bumped it down to 720p, and we're still looking at upwards of 90% CPU usage, which I know it's a laptop i5, so we're looking at 2 gigahertz, 2 cores. I'm almost positive. I haven't actually looked at it. I was actually given this laptop, so lucky enough, or I'm borrowing it. But and to go ahead and answer the question, why in the world are we not, why aren't I just using my main PC? This is one reason. This is the power supply from it that I am going to be using. Was been in a big debate as to whether I want to use it. I don't, obviously. It's not the greatest power supply, to say the least. But I'd already spent quite a bit on this. No one gave me this, except for one part, and I'll get to that in just a second. But no one gave me the motherboard or anything like that. Ryzen, and is it right? Yeah. Here's your answer for anyone curious. So that's your answer. It's the 1700. But okay. So we started off horribly, and I'm really sorry about that. But like I said, thought I had plenty of time. We've been going over for a good hour now, and it just flew by, and all of a sudden I look and it's 1 o'clock. Great. So I do apologize for that. But anyway, with all of that out of the way, basically I did have to gut my old PC because some parts I have to use, like the PSU. But also, and this is sad, I know, but thanks to all the stuff that's going on with the graphics cards right now, I really didn't feel comfortable buying a new one, at least not at the moment. So I am using my old GPU. My old GPU, some people will laugh, and that's fine. It's a GTX 660, old, I know, but the main reason, some people are probably wondering, why are you even doing this? Well, the main reason is because, well, twofold. The CPU I have, that I've been doing all of my video editing on, all of my, the work for the channel, is an old i5, and it's held up fairly well. But there's a couple problems. First, when I try to do really CPU intensive tasks like not Photoshop or anything, but I can't think. After Effects. There we go. I like to do some pretty cool stuff that you can only really do in programs like After Effects, and it just annihilates mostly my RAM, which that's kind of number 2, but also my CPU, and also just doing multiple tasks at once, trying to. I end up having to close a bunch of things, and that is also heavily because of my RAM. I have 8 gigs of RAM, and when I built it for gaming, which obviously with it being a GTX 660, it's not good at that anymore either. And when I built it, it was only a mid-range, only a mid-range PC anyway. So GTX 660, and but that's the thing, that a lot of people are asking, well, why are you even doing this if you're just going to keep the 660? This is not for gaming. The upgrade I'm doing, I want to upgrade the graphics card as well, just because it needs it, and I like playing PC games and haven't really been able to lately. I've pretty much been playing Xbox. I know, it's sad. But until graphics card prices come down, this is what I have. But the main thing is that with this, I'll be able to make videos faster, make them better, because I'll have more time, and because I'll be able to do things like After Effects. And back to that, the second is RAM, which this was actually given to me, and a big shout out to one of our Discord users. It's JDS and Numbers. If you're in the chat, definitely say thank you. That was one of the things I intended to do prior to this, was get all that down, but unfortunately the past hour, like I said, been trying to get the stream to work properly. So either way, basically the entire point is I'll be like, to give you kind of an idea of my workload, I'll have a whole bunch of tabs open. That's always the case in Chrome. I'll have, which Chrome's known for, being pretty heavily memory dependent, but Chrome, and then I'll also have 1 or 2 photo editing. I like to do some really fast stuff in GIMP, just stuff that I just want to throw up, do it really fast. It's just, I like the way it does certain things. And then I'll have Photoshop open as well, and I like the way it does certain things. So I know which task I want to use for which. And during the video editing process, I'll obviously also have Adobe up, the editing that I use. And so you've got all of those up at once, and it'll just, my RAM will completely be maxed out, and all of a sudden things will just stop working, or I'll go into a tab and have to wait a few seconds for it to bring it back up because it went ahead and closed it while I was working in another program. So basically that's the main reason, and I'm still running DDR3 so obviously I had to, well, to get Ryzen to begin with, I had to get a new motherboard, and then anyway, so that is everything with that. So what did I get? Well, I have the Ryzen 7 1700. Great price performance. I was debating on this in the X, but Newegg actually had a pretty cool deal where you can get this motherboard and this. It was basically like $25 off beyond the already pretty awesome price. So I went ahead and got it, and I chose the X370 mostly because it came with that. I know I only have one graphics card, and I don't suggest getting X370 if you only have one graphics card unless you really, really like the I/O, which the I/O on the X370 and B350 are actually identical. So it wasn't really the I/O. Although I love the I/O of these particular boards, the MSI boards. But, so yeah, I chose this, honestly, 80% because of aesthetics. It met the requirements that I had for what I wanted in a board, and quite a bit of other boards met it as well. Some slightly exceeded it, but I love the aesthetics of the Carbon series motherboards, period. Hands down, love them. B350, the B350 Carbon, the X370 Carbon, love them. They just, in my opinion, look fantastic. And then I also got the NZXT X52. I was kind of debating on this for a good while because it's expensive, and it's expensive for what you get, definitively. I mean, it's just a fact. But I think it looks awesome, and I want to use this PC as a backdrop for a lot of my videos. So looking good was kind of a key factor, and those that aren't going to be doing things like that, there's no reason to spend the extra money. I mean, you could get just as comparable AIO for $100. You could get, and I guess that may be another question, why did I go with an AIO? The answer is specifically because of the case that I got. I got a Core P3, which it just basically shows off everything, and it looks kind of odd without some type of water cooling, because it's pretty well made for water cooling, and you'll have like a whole half of it just gone. Anyway, all right, so you probably just want us to get started, and I am. That was another thing I was planning on doing, was writing up a little bit of a few things, and I didn't get a chance to do that either, so I do apologize, everyone. Believe it or not, I actually did prepare for this heavily. I worked all day yesterday working on it, getting all of this set up, finding actually had to get a second camera because I really want to do a top-down view. But anyway, I'll stop rambling and we can kind of get started. Also, okay, hold on, one last thing, don't hate me. I just wanted to say that it has been a while since I've done a build. Unfortunately, I don't get parts, you know, every day, all day, things like that, so I'm not constantly building new PCs. I definitely understand them. I understand, you know, I follow the news a good bit, obviously. I understand the economy of it a good bit, but there's a difference between all of that and actually doing it. So there is a chance that I will forget something. Please don't hate me in the comments, please. But I am going to try and go through, and I'm also going to try to look at some questions ever so often as best as I can, and just go through those and see if I can help. So anyway, without further ado, the first thing that you normally want to do is go straight to the motherboard. And some people may wonder, well, what about you know, the little wrist thing, which I actually do have it. I don't know if it's worth finding, because I'm only gonna find it and tell you that you should probably, here it is. Okay. Well. Okay. Here it is. For anyone that doesn't know, it just helps with static electricity so it doesn't damage the parts. I will say, I mean, I've built quite a few PCs and never had an issue. The number one thing that I usually do is just have something metal, steel, with direct contact to it without any kind of overcoating, because that doesn't necessarily discharge your static electricity. But the simple fact is that static electricity can kill parts. It can. But the chances of it are incredibly slim. I've never really read specifically that it's worse during the winter, but I would assume it is, and it's really hot, and yeah, I don't have very much here. I'm in the South, so South US. But anyway, just something metal around, just to ever so often just tap, and that'll discharge your static electricity. So I don't really use these. If you are worried about it, though, there's nothing wrong with it. It does what it's supposed to do. It just has a little metal contact right here, touches your wrist. Make sure that it's touching your wrist. Make sure there's nothing like underneath it or anything. Touches the skin, and then you just latch it on somewhere, and it's constantly discharging any kind of electricity you have over in your body. So, not really going to use this. Just going to put this aside. Anyway, let's... well, before I begin, is there any kind of questions? Which, there's a big lag between me speaking and you seeing and hearing me speaking, so we're going to try and deal with that. You know, people that watch streams probably know that a good bit, but... Oh, it just said I missed 2 donations, and I am really sorry about that. Oh, okay, I see him. Oh, B-Bear. Heck yeah, I definitely appreciate that. And that guy, 867, I do appreciate it. Yes, the quality is horrible. I am really sorry about that. I was debating on not doing it, but I know a lot of people were really looking forward to this, so really wanted to. 3 donations. Oh, okay, there is a third. Oh, and that guy again. Thanks. Honestly, I do appreciate it. Anyone who does do that, I'm not going to be able to see it consistently, unfortunately, because I don't have it on this screen. So whenever I'm looking at that or switching scene or something, I'm not going to see it, and I definitely do apologize, but I do want to say thank you to anyone who does donate, especially given all the complications that we've had, all my rambling, etc. Okay. All right. Let's get into it. First up the board, and I did not really go through and do much anything, so I may once or twice, hopefully not for very long periods of time, actually have to read for some given reason. But let me just do this. Okay. So, here it is. That's the I/O shield. Okay. Now, my better camera is the one up here. I did that specifically, so hopefully you can see. But even though I was expecting to do this in 1080, and I think it's pretty obvious we are nowhere near 1080. But what I like to do, I don't know why I actually put this away, because let me kind of get everything out that we're probably going to need. Might need that. Okay. Okay. What I honestly like to do is just, well, probably shouldn't have slid it like that. Get it right here, and I have a knife somewhere. It disappeared. Okay. Let's just get this open. And this is one sexy motherboard. You can't really see it all that well just because, well, it's horrible quality. But regardless, this is one nice motherboard. Okay. Try and get that where you can see it. Okay. First we have the motherboard. And, okay, I'm really going to need that knife. Guess I can just use this. And kind of move this out of the way. Alright, let me look. Give me 2 seconds. I am really sorry. Hold on. I will be right back. And I found the knife. Right as I found the scissors. Right as I got the scissors. Okay. Let's see what anyone's saying. Okay. This is some nice packaging, I guess. We can kind of move that over. And, ooh, sticker. This, since it's the 1700, it does come with one of the Wraith coolers. Just kind of put that there, get it on the shot. I'm not going to be using it, obviously, with the Kraken and everything, but not bad. Pretty nice heatsink. Definitely a fantastic cooler that comes with a CPU. I mean, you just can't beat that. Anyway, just going to set this aside. And let's go ahead and open this. Okay, very nice. Okay. I'm used to Intel CPUs, and it's all pretty much done backwards. All the pins are on here, and in an Intel CPU, on AMD, all the pins are on here. Intel CPU, all the pins are actually in the motherboard socket. So, kind of a way of knowing if you have AMD versus an Intel chip. Okay, so first things first, which I've actually only ever worked with Intel, so I am not an expert in this field. There's usually like a little notch with Intel. That's usually how it's done. And I can see that there isn't, like, there's normally a missing kind of corner, and that's not really the case. All it is that it now has a little arrow, and the arrow, let me open up. Okay, you know you're good when it all just happily slides in. Yeah, it's the gold triangle. I guess I could... I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's right there, and then there's a little notch on the side. Okay, so it's in there nice and good. Oh, wow. That definitely clamps down completely different from Intel. Intel, you always hear that, like, snapping. It's always this, like, kind of, not snapping noise, that's not the correct. But it's like this crunch, like, and it's always really, really hard to push it down. So you always are wondering, like, oh, please tell me I did this right. Anyway, that is that for that part. And then what we need to do, I'm actually going to go ahead and switch back. Yay, my shortcuts are working now. Okay. All right, so we have the Kraken. As you can see, have not opened this up myself at all. And just remember that this PC will be the one used for streaming from now on. So we'll definitely get far better quality than this. Okay. Really nicely packaged. I like all of NZXT's boxes. Even their cases aren't the normal just brown case. Pretty much it seems like no matter how much you spend, you just get a regular brown shipping case, which is fine. But NZXT always does that white with the purple, and it's always something I've really liked. Or I say they've always done it, but lately. And okay, so we have the fans. Alright, and there is a chance that I'm going to say something really stupid just because I'm not thinking, and with the fact that we already messed up with the beginning stream, I can't mess up again, so that in turn makes me mess up. Okay. Just gonna kind of put this down here. You know what I should probably do? Let's go ahead and put it on the case. Well, we're doing this. Okay. This is quite nice looking. Wow. Mirror finish. Okay. Just gonna kind of keep that on for now. Alright, a couple things that we have to do to prepare it. Actually, one thing. Well, no, that's not true. It is a couple things. This is probably going to be one of those times where I may actually have to read, because it is always different. What you're going to... I know, I've already looked. I know for a fact that it doesn't use the regular AMD kind of brackets up front. So, I have done some prep work. So I do know that for a fact. And let's... But it uses the same backplate, which is always nice. And I do know that this stuff is boring. I do apologize. It's the unfortunate side effect of it being live. And a lot of my ramblings would have been taken down to a sentence or two. Because I would have gone, you know, that's too much rambling. Let's take that out. But alas, it's live. I am 27. I will be 28 in January. That answers. I saw some people were asking, so I am not 18. Crud. Okay. So we have that out. Like I said, we still need to keep the back plate. And let's see. I know I'm going to have to take this off. It comes standard with Intel's. Oh, crud. Well, let me give that a second then. Okay, first we're going to want to put these risers on. You know what? Let me actually look. Okay. Sweet. These little things are always handy. I figured they would probably have one. Usually it's just like something that just kind of slides on top just into a notch, but obviously it has to have the screws up top as well, so you actually just screw it in, which is interesting. I'm not gay. Just, I mean, someone asked, so I guess I could go ahead and clear it up. Hello, hello, welcome. Okay. The problem with the screw it on method is that, which I've actually never even seen one like this, it normally just fits on top of it somehow. I wish it was just bigger and would go on top of it and right onto those without actually screwing it on. Great. I'll fix that in just a second. Yeah, the event's supposed to be tomorrow. I've heard something may be happening with that, so I'm really not sure. Okay. And yes, I think somebody said that I'm really slow. I am, just because I want to make sure that I don't get nervous, try and hurry, and just make a mistake and not think. That's the last thing I want. Because like I said, I mean, I honestly paid for these myself, and I didn't get a 1080 because I can't afford it. So that also means I can't afford just to be, you know, messing up parts. So, and I'm not saying that that's why others are faster. They do it more often. So I mean, that's definitely understandable. A lot of people, whenever you just build day in and day out, I mean, it eventually, you don't even have to think about it. But unfortunately, I'm not at that point. And that would explain one thing. let me take a quick look. I do apologize. I need to see one thing which would explain what was wrong here. Oop. Well, that explains that. Hold on. What am I doing? Oops. You know what? I knew I was going to make some mistake. And I do apologize. Hold on one second. For one, you really shouldn't use that. That's used for after. To actually hold it in, which would explain why it was screws and not just the little over one. So, embarrassing. Okay. Need to figure out which ones are actually the AMD risers, and I don't know why I didn't already think of that. I do apologize, and I'm sweating like crazy. Okay. Oh Lord, yes, I know. But which one are the AMD standoffs? Okay. That's pretty bad. And it just might explain a couple things. Okay. The smaller... Oh, you know what? I did do it right. I did. I just need to make sure all of these are the right ones. Gee. This is bad. Don't hate me, everyone. Okay, hold on one second. I'm sweating like crazy because I turned my AC down and that was a poor decision, but it's really loud. So G. Nope. 3. Okay, I was actually doing the right ones. Yay. I'll be right back. Okay. All right. Trial. Okay. Unfortunately, they did not have these. Like, I mean, this obviously, this says AMD. Pretty simple. Unfortunately, you've got the Intel, except a certain socket. I forget which socket it was, but and then AMD and Intel, which luckily these were the ones that I was using. So now we have to start over. It looks like the length is the same, so there's no. So I was doing it right, which the sad part is just how hard it is to go in at times. I don't know what that's about. I probably have something that I could use for the risers, to be honest, but it's one of those... It would take me a few minutes just to find it, so... I actually thought that they would have one of those. I mean, well, I was wrong. That explains everything. I'm really sorry, everyone. I just figured out something, and I really do apologize. You had all the risers in the same bag. Then I just so happened to glance down. And looky here. You probably can't see. Risers. Yay. That would explain why it was all the Intel risers in one. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to take this. Put this over here. Take this. These. Just kind of get some things out of the way. Okay. Oh. Hold on. That makes a bit more sense. What do you guys think? I know, I'm sorry, bro, the player. I apologize. I know. It's pretty bad. I knew this was going to go one or two ways. Super, super smooth or horribly. And it looks like it is the latter. Probably make sure that's for the AM4. Okay, we're probably going to move to something else to not be so annoying and frustrating for everybody. Unfortunately, the part that I was sure was going to be the worst, we haven't even gotten to yet, so I'm sorry. Okay, this is so. Okay, so now we do at least have the AMD on here. Then we have the risers. I'm not going to put the cooler on, honestly, until I get the case. And that is where we get into the unfortunate side of things. There is a little bit of RGB. I'm sorry, but it should be pretty tasteful. Either way, we're going to have to actually move some of this over. And we thought that I did horribly with the cooler. That's pretty self-explanatory, but trying to hurry ended up taking me way longer. So what we have now is what's going to be the part that I was actually concerned about, and the part that's probably going to take longer than any of it, which is the case. I'm not sure if anyone knows about the Core P3, but it's completely open, and you know, a lot of people will do a quick build outside an external build just to kind of test the parts, but to me this is about as external build as it can get. So let me make sure this isn't on anything. Okay, no. So yeah, this is about as external a build as it can get. Okay. Hopefully it is fun. Let's find out. I've heard the instructions are incredibly frustrating. So, which I was actually planning on going ahead and at least having a few things like the motherboard risers and all that good stuff already installed. But obviously that didn't exactly go according to plan. Okay. Let's see. Let me find... Nope. These right here are actually pretty cool. They're feet to have an open test bench. Here, you just put them at the bottom, screw them in. That's pretty interesting. Just kind of get everything out here. I have no idea what that is. Okay. Ah, here we go. Motherboard risers. Okay. I'm assuming ATX. Okay, there's like 9, I believe, usually on an ATX. It's been that long, guys, and I do apologize once again. And this is what I'm talking about. This. This right here, it just kind of goes over. Just goes over the riser so you can screw it in. And unfortunately, that was not the case like I thought it was for the risers on the motherboard. So, which I've actually never used an AIO, and I wasn't gonna use an AIO this time around. But just this case, it's just made for it, and it looks amazing on it. So it's exciting. It's okay. Let's see. Ah, so it's done pretty well. It has A, I'm assuming, for ATX. So this is where you screw in the risers for an ATX motherboard, and then you'll have AM for the mobile, for MI, so for that's the ITX. Very cool. Makes everything pretty simple, which is clearly what I need. Okay. There. Let me look. Actually. Yeah, why does that say... Hold on. This could be wrong, which would not at all surprise me, given my recent track record. Obviously, this has to go up top of the I/O. Yep. Okay. Nope, that is correct. Okay, sweet. Yeah. You can't really see it, but notched in here, just it'll say an A, and so that's for all of your ATX motherboard risers. And then you'll see where it says AM. That means that ATX, you have an ATX, so you still need, and it actually just says it right here. So the M is for micro ATX. So if you have micro ATX, put there. Also, if you have an ATX, because obviously the ATX you're going to have more than any of them except for like the super, like ATX, I forget what they're called. So everywhere it's got an A, throw a riser in. It's that simple. Very well done. Once again, everyone, I really do apologize. I mean, I thought all the risers for the NZXT, I thought they were all in the same one, and they weren't. So that's why I didn't see the other one. Just kind of trying to hurry because I know that I talked way too much and do talk too much. So in me doing that, totally screwed up, and I do apologize. So, which definitely don't take this as like a how-to, because while I'm nervous, I mean, I do know what I'm doing, relatively speaking. I haven't done it enough to come up with a really cool techniques. I mean, the one thing I've always done, which became kind of popular just recently, is the P method for applying the paste. And that's just something I've always done prior to like a lot of people discussing the best way, and I'll actually talk about that a little bit more when we get to it. Which is one of those things to where as long as you don't under or over apply, it doesn't matter. Do the line, do the X, do a P, do an R. When I say P, I just mean a big dot, not. So, anyway. So yeah, this is going to be a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, and I'm really, once again, I apologize. And what I'm probably going to do is definitely set up. I have it set where it isn't going to instantly go live on YouTube, so I'll definitely, for anyone who wants to watch it later, I'll try and cut some of the hoopla out. Yeah, I said hoopla. Nice. That should be all of them. Yeah, okay. You know what, though? That's the only thing. Why? Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I didn't think there was another one. Crap. Hold on. Anyone know why there's a 10th one? Nope, I'm pretty much... Oh, well. No, a... I love how everybody just has like their own conversation. It's awesome. I'm not being sarcastic, by the way. I find it's funny. Yeah, I didn't think I did. I don't know why it has it there. Okay, well. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to think, where are they? Where is this? Here we go. Give me 1 second. There's one thing I want to double check on. Yeah, it's an M3. So where's that? No. Wait, I think this is it. Actually, almost positive. 1, 2, 3. Why are there so many? I'm almost positive it's these. Unless... Nope. We're gonna find out. Yeah. This is pretty sad. Hold on. That is too long. It's taking the standoff out. You gotta be kidding. Well, at least we can... we can say that you watched a funny moron put together a PC. What seems to be the first time. But I will say there's way more screws in this one than pretty much any other PC case ever, because it's pretty much just a given. It just, hey, here's enough screws for the standoffs. These must be the screws. I'll be right back. Again, I apologize. All right. How not to do this? Here's what I'm actually gonna do. Okay, I knew those things are way too long. Let me see. One second. Yeah, you normally do put the memory on first. You're absolutely right. Hold on 1 second. Okay, we can actually, we probably should do the memory board, you know, or memory board, the memory. So let's get that. It's a single stick. One thing that you do want to do. Hold on. Crud. One thing that you definitely do want to do is to ensure that where you're putting, you want to take the, well, should be a little quick start guide. Yeah, I it should be in here. And it'll give you, I'll show you really quickly if I can get this down. Okay. Okay. It'll tell you where you need to put the memory. And this is nice. I actually really like the aluminum right around it like that, or I think it's aluminum. No. Why would it be that? Anyway. Let's see. Nope. What is just okay? It's not in the quick start guide. Let me. Which basically it's which slot to put. Like whenever you have two, it's usually every other. But it'll tell you, you know, put it in one, and it'll have them numbered. And you know, if you have a single stick, put it here. Here it is. Okay, I'll find it. Oh, well, there you go. A specific little thing right there. So, yep, exactly. See, I've actually never done a single stick. This is a single stick of 16 gigabyte DDR4, and as you can see, whenever you have a single stick, you want to put it in the second slot. So we're gonna do that. Let me see. So yeah, you just hook those out. It's RAM is about as easy as it can get. Let me. Okay. It's about as easy as it can get. You can see that it's got a little notch right there. And what you want to do is you just line it up, and it's uneven. So it's not like it's right in the middle. So it's impossible to do this thing wrong, basically. So you just kind of slide it in here. As long as it's in. There you go. Bam. It's that simple. RAM is, it's easy. Well, honestly, here's the thing, guys. Most all of this really is easy. I mean, like for example, the one guy had said you normally put the RAM in first, and he's right. Anytime that I've done it, that's what I do. And unfortunately, it's one of those, I'm trying to kind of not be super extra boring by working on standoffs for 30 minutes, even though once I switched to that, all I did was work on standoffs. But anyway, you do normally do it first, but I mean, it's adult Legos. I mean, a lot of people have always said that. I mean, it is more complex than that. It's not that simple. You got to make sure that everything fits right, and it is easy to mess something up. But there are a good bit of precautions, and it's a lot easier now than it used to be. Let's just put it that way. Certain things just can't go in the wrong way, and if you try, that's how you mess it up. But most of it's self-explanatory, to be honest. I mean, that's really the point. I mean, it's gotten to where, you know, you've got on here, I mean, it'll literally, you know, PCIe, there's your PCI Express. You know, you don't have to go by, you know, is it 8-pin, is it whatever pin, 6-pin, you know, it says it. It's really simple. So, but then again, I'm the one who can't put the right standoffs on, so I'm not really one to talk, am I? Okay. Okay, back to this. Let's try and push this without pushing off the PSU. Okay. And I was going to make sure that I put the cooler on first, but oh well, I guess, for now. So, okay. Where I am back to is, if I can find it. Nope. crud. Hold on one second. I am really sorry. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. We're good. Core P3. We got it. Okay. So what I really need to do is I just don't want to use the wrong screw again. I mean, how ridiculous is that? The M3. Okay, it's not that. It's not this. Not that. Not that. Okay, it's not this, so yeah. Okay, I got it, definitively. Alright. I'm like 98% sure this is not it. I'm probably going to regret this later. Okay. Now I can actually kind of dig through these. Okay. Finally. I think I found him. The thing is that the ones that I've always done are these just regular round ones, but this is showing the flat bottom. This has got to be it. Okay. Every motherboard that I've ever, I mean, maybe it's more for, I don't know, but every motherboard I've ever done was just regular, just the round tops, and that's what kind of made me kind of like this, where it's just a regular round, but these, it just shows the flat one, and that's why I've been kind of debating in my head as to like, what the heck. So anyway, this is almost certainly it, at least based on what it's supposed to be. And I know, we're like, what, an hour and 10 minutes in? I'm not very often. I do apologize as far as reading comments. Should I be? Unfortunately, that's why I'm having to go based on my, let's see. I'm not doing a, but someone had mentioned a budget build. This is not, really keep in mind, this is mine. I mean, this isn't just a build. I picked the 1700 specifically for my type of tasks. Could I have gone with a 6 core and probably been absolutely fine? Yes. But especially for things like streaming and stuff like that, which I do plan on doing, like game streaming when I have a better GPU. But anyway, definitely just understand that it is my build. This is for me specifically. First off, this would be mistake number one that you never do, is completely tighten it down like I just did a second ago. Well, I didn't completely. I did leave a little bit of room, but you don't do that. Once again, I'm kind of nervous, and I know I've kind of screwed up already, so then it's just going to make me screw up more. And okay. You don't do what I just did. It's ridiculous. I do apologize, everyone. You really just ever so, and this is for everything, screwing in anything, and it's why it's ridiculous that I'm made this mistake. But screwing in anything, you don't just fully screw it in. You go a little bit. You want to work more diagonal as well, like one here, one here. But it's kind of too late for that. Ooh, that would maybe explain it. Okay, so 1, 2. Let me separate these because I'm getting the slightly longer screws and not noticing, and that's not good. Okay, and that would explain why it's stopping. No, actually it doesn't, because that is the correct length. Should not have done this live. I'm really sorry. This is not something I would constitute as entertainment. Let's see. Yep, it literally has to be these. Okay. I have no idea why it's not wanting to go in on a couple of the standoffs. I mean, I'm not... At first, I blamed it on me putting it in too far, which will mess it up, but will not... Hold on. Anyway. Well, honestly, this is what I need to do. Totally take this off. And then... still may have screwed it down too tight, and that may have been the reason it wasn't wanting to go in. Okay. Okay, I think we're finally getting somewhere. I just assumed that I had gotten the longer one, but that wasn't the case at all. So okay. Hold on. Yep, it was that. It's one reason you really don't want to go in a better order than I did. Hold on. This. Okay. No. Oh, crap. Ah. There she is. And there's... Okay, good. Doesn't need to be crazy tight at all. I just want to make sure all of them are tight. Just make sure I didn't miss one. Okay. Okay. Yay! Let me get... No, I found it. I found it. I'm not missing. Okay. Wait, is there something I missed? Crud. Hold on. Okay. Okay. These are for the M.2. Or, well, no, that is. And then that. Okay. Okay. It looks good. Finally. Now. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Or comments. Or comments. Any questions or comments here? I know I'm sweaty. I have my AC low and it's gotten super hot. Okay. Mickey, I can, but with all the just bad decisions I've made on like the initial risers, I don't know. I may need to start over for that kind of video. GR33. I've built plenty of computers, to be honest. There's just always growing pains with new hardware that you've never messed with, especially like this case. And I've never used an AIO before. You know, I mean, honestly, a lot of times I'll just use Intel's, and it's just snap in. It's the simplest stuff. So, let's see. For now, I'm just gonna build it, make sure it works, and not really any overclocking or anything, but I will be making videos for that, definitely. I need a haircut. Thermal paste. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I've read a good bit about it, and the P method, it's the simplest, and it honestly, here's the thing. Whenever it comes to thermal paste, there's almost no, like, okay, spreading it isn't very good, because what will happen is you'll have a bunch of bubbles whenever you put the heat sink on and everything. You'll have a bunch of bubbles, but here's the thing about that. It's good enough. It's not going to be a point to where we're talking 40 degrees versus 100 degrees. It's not. I mean, really, these CPUs are really efficient. The cooling is a lot of times overkill. And, I mean, obviously, when we're talking overclocking, that can cause problems when you're already trying to get to higher core clocks and therefore higher temps. But, I mean, when you're just like, even if it has some bubbles, let's say it's running at like 40. You do, like, the best way, let's say it's 40 with room temperature. Then whenever you move up to something like using your finger or something, I mean, it might be 50. I mean, that's the difference, and that's why there's such an argument in my mind as to the best way to do it, is because pretty much no matter what way you do it, it's going to be okay, relatively speaking. But the reason I always suggest like the P or even the line, basically not spreading it yourself, is because when you actually push it up against it, it's going to spread it out much more evenly than you could ever spread it yourself. And especially people that will do something like use like a business card and will or like a credit card or something, and will like try almost like spackle or something on the wall. Like I have some spackle back there. It's a horrible job, but don't do that. First off, it's really thin. It's too thin. And second, you think it's evenly distributed, but whenever you put it on, any little non-even ones, because it's not thick right there, it won't help spread it out. It'll just have bubbles. We're just places where you aren't able to have like a perfect seal or whatever. Anyway, if that makes sense. If I didn't ramble on for too long about that. Concerning the 480p, it's not 480. It is higher than 480, but then again, whenever it comes to YouTube, it may be 480 right now. Unfortunately, I can't do 720. I'm running off my laptop. Discussed that a good bit at the beginning. The graphics card, I didn't get a new one. It's this Twin Frozer. Here you can, it's an old GTX 660. So, yes, unfortunately, the prices of all graphics cards right now are affecting everyone, including me. I really couldn't afford to get like a 1080 or anything like that. So I'm just waiting, but I got everything else. But anyway, let me see if there's any other questions. Have a good one, Funky Monkey. What GPU do I plan on upgrading to? Possibly Vega. It depends. Apparently there was some like news on its price, and I haven't even had a chance to do that just because I've been working on this all day and getting everything prepared. But I don't know. It depends on where Vega is, where its pricing is, and I'm hoping to go around the 1070 level. I don't have like $600 just to throw. I mean, honestly, I still need to get a ton of things for Gamer Meld. I need a new lens for my camera. I need better lighting. I mean, there's a lot of things that I still need to get that are quite expensive, and I love gaming, but I mean, I'm really wanting to up the quality from the horrible current quality, which is only because I'm using my laptop. But anyway, you get the point. Okay. So, next up, what we need to do is this case. I definitely chose the worst case ever for this, as far as doing this build. Just because, let me see, I believe it's these two. And depending on how much longer this is, dang, it's already been, I am really sorry, everyone. I appreciate all the patience. And I really did intend to look over everything a good bit more, like with this specific case, with this specific motherboard and things like that, but just I was planning on doing that while I was trying to get it up and running, but unfortunately that took way longer while I was testing it, like testing the speeds and everything, and I was just about not going to do it just because the quality. But anyway, I definitely appreciate everyone who's watching for sure. And I do apologize for that. See, this is the only thing that I hate about this case. It's not your normal case. What I should do is just use that. It's too late. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. That's what this is. This right here has to do... This is what's cool. It's modular, it's nice, it's awesome, it's sleek looking, but because of that you have to do everything. So even the power supply, being able to get that on. Let's take a look. You know what, one thing I need to do is probably the feet. Okay. Sweet. So these are for the PSU bracket. Okay, so I've got that. And then I guess I can kind of show you guys what I'm looking at. Okay. So we have the PSU bracket, which is this right here. That is actually pretty cool, except it only works with ITX. You can actually have the PSU up, oops, like this, like that, rather than the traditional, you know, this. Well, it's this way, but anyway, you get the point. That's kind of neat. But obviously, if you did it this way, it would interfere with the normal ATX motherboard, so it is only functional with the smaller motherboards. Okay. So we have this. This is actually pretty cool. Well, hold on. What I'm probably Holy. I think it's catching up with all of the chat. Crud. That's interesting. Yes, I do wish that I had a modular one. What I think I might do, maybe, is actually redo these cables. Basically take these off and just re-sleeve them. But I'm not sure. You can do it with non-modular PSUs, but it's kind of a hassle comparatively. Wait, what? Hold on. What is this? Oh, wrong one. Here it is. I was like, what? That's when it's at the top. Kind of like this view, like up. I can't. Anyway. That would actually look really cool, though. I didn't know that they had that. Okay. Let's see. Okay, that's... There we go. Okay, and this is what these are for. Oh, crap. I believe it's gonna be this one right here. This is not my day. I don't know why my phone keeps turning off. It didn't used to when it was on live chat. Let me see. And then it likes to catch up and just go crazy. Whenever it comes to mid-range, I want to try to go one step more like a 1070 rather than like a 580 or possibly a Vega equivalent. But if I do need to, if I'm not able to afford it for some reason, then yeah, I mean, I'll definitely go for an RX. Definitely. I would absolutely suggest, especially given AMD's kind of current where it's at as far as their DX12, as far as what they're doing with DX12, it is pretty impressive, to say the least. Okay. Let me see. I think I should have done the other one. Yeah, let me change that. Oh. There we go. That's peculiar. Oh, I see. I have to take this off. Is everybody, I want to make sure definitely, I know I've apologized like 100 times, but I want to make sure that everyone, oh wow, okay. Yes, I am using a magnetic one. I'm just using the thermal paste that came with it, to be honest. That's what I'm going to end up using. But I want to make sure, I mean, is everyone... I understand a lot of this is, I mean, actually me reading, which is sad. And it was something that I was wanting to avoid, but time crept up and that 1 o'clock slot kind of came up quick. And I just wanted to see, is everyone... I mean, if you'd like, I can end the stream. I know it's at times kind of painful to watch. Just want to make sure everyone's happy with it. I know it's slow. As far as the case, I'm going to go ahead and I guess I should probably explain why I chose this case. 2 reasons. First, it's gorgeous. I love it. I really do. It's probably one of my favorites besides the upcoming half that's going to be coming out by Cooler Master. Really like that. Actually tried to get it. Wasn't able to, unfortunately. But regardless, I think it looks awesome. But also, and this is a big one, for future parts and things like that, it can be used as a test bench. I mean, it's a wide open case, so because of that, if I ever do review parts or anything like that, I mean, the simple fact is that a wide open case is, I mean, let me put it this way: test benches are upwards of like $400 or $500 easy. This is a $100 case, and it is modular, and it really can be used as a test bench, and that alone, to be honest, is awesome to me. And so it's kind of 2 in 1. Maybe one day if I get another case, I mean, I can just use this strictly as a test bench, and I'll have it set up like that, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up on its feet. But anyway, I mean, it's gorgeous. I would bring it up on here, but I don't want to mess up the stream because if I do anything else, Chrome anything, but definitely I don't think you can add. No, you can't. But it's a Core P3 is what it's called. It's by Thermaltake. So I mean, definitely look at it. I mean, you'll see that it looks awesome, at least in my opinion, and it's one of the reasons why I went with the NZXT. And I think it's just going to be a really sweet looking backdrop. So that's kind of the biggest thing. Plus, I asked everyone on Twitter, and the P3 was definitely the winner between the two cases that I was debating over. In hindsight, am I somewhat regretting the P? Maybe. Or at least maybe just doing a case that I know very well. Maybe just like take that out, put everything in, and then on my own time work on the Core P3. Would I have done that? Maybe. Probably. Given how I'm having to like figure this thing out, and I've never worked with a case like this ever before, so that's not good. A lot of firsts for me, like the AIO, so I really appreciate everybody bearing with me, but it does seem like most people kind of want me to keep going. The only thing is that it looks like this is actually used right in here. And I'm assuming it's gonna hold up a graphics card, because you can see it's like this. It goes right in here and goes up like that. No, what in the world is it's meant to hold up something? Let's put it that way. I'm sure if I looked at the picture of the case, I would figure it out. But either way, that probably means that I need to unscrew this. It absolutely means that. And I do love magnetic tips. This one, I've used it so much for tons of different things, but this one I've used it so much that the magnetic part of it on the end is coming off, but it still works pretty well. Let's see. Okay, so what I need to do is just trying to see what screw oh, wait, that's weird. That's not the screw it shows. Oh, okay, sweet. So it's all just kind of in here. Okay. And it also has this little pad, which is pretty cool. I guess I should try and do all this in screen. Sorry about that. Okay. So what you want to do is put that just like that. And then how do I keep losing things? Alright. And it looks like no, it's this. It's definitely this one. Okay, it looks like you. Okay. Yeah, so it'll sit flush, so this can actually still go right back where it was, which is awesome. And there we go. Okay. It's gonna hold up something. Okay. on the bright side, I might be able to win the slowest build ever award. So, I mean, I'm a little proud of that. I mean, I've put together 3D printers faster than this, which is just sad. Okay. And what I will do is I'll try and put some timestamps on it, work on all that. I probably won't be able to have it up tonight, but I definitely do intend to put it up eventually. Let's see. I was about to say, I knew that there's a ready here. What in the world? Why is this not wanting to sit flush at all? Okay. We're gonna unscrew these a little bit. Just enough. There we go. For me to push it up. Oh, you know what? Duh. It might not want to sit flush because it has, oh, I don't know, a crap load of weight on this other side. Okay, let me read comments. It's something that I definitely wanted to do. Oh my gosh. He refuses. He what? What? Hold on. Okay. Okay, it's going to be one of those good enough, because I am going to try and do this a little bit faster for you guys. I am really sorry. Alright, let's see. So we have more screws than I've ever seen. Let's write that. Okay. I'm gonna do the feet. I'm just gonna do those last, to be honest. Let's see. the GPU for that. All right, we can at least do this now. Oh my gosh, what was I thinking? Holy crap. Alright guys, I screwed up. And I think this is the last screw up of the day. I think it's time for me to just handle this on my own because it's just a sad screw up and I don't know what I was thinking. I needed to put I mean, obvious. I always do the cooler first, so I don't. When there's a back plate, you need to do the cooler first. I actually don't always do the cooler first. I don't know why I said that, but Intel's cooler. It's just like a little snap in place thing, which is usually what I use. So what I needed to do was to do the back plate. To do that, the motherboard can't be attached to the case. Which means that I would then have to unscrew, which means I do have to unscrew it, do all of that. I was kind of, honestly, the only reason I didn't finish with it earlier was purely because I was trying to kind of move on to something else because I know that it was taking forever. And I think what I'm going to do is, just because I'm trying to kind of be entertaining while doing this and trying to figure stuff out, I'm just clearly messing up like a lot, and I really do apologize. I know I've apologized like 100 times, but I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to ultimately go ahead and kind of do this, and what I'll do is I'll probably record a good bit and then edit it and actually have like a nice video for everyone. Just because I've literally already taken off the motherboard like twice at this point, and I'm about to have to do it again, and okay. Crap. Okay. All right, I'm reading the comments. Okay, we can keep going. Especially people that donated. I feel bad about that. All right, let's just do it. And I understand that the short videos are kind of my thing. Unfortunately, we are 2 hours in and I'm not even I've never taken this long, but I blame the case more than anything. So, yeah. Let's... The problem is that I do know how to build a PC, obviously. But the problem is that when we messed up and I was already late earlier, and then I'm going through everything, I'm trying, the quality's horrible, everything's horrible, so I'm like trying to hurry up, trying to, because I actually thought one was going to be too early until I found out that the stream, I was going to have to lower the quality drastically, far lower than I ever thought I was going to have to do. And then I went from that to realizing maybe I should not have just unboxed it and just done it right there, considering I've never actually dealt with these specific components. I mean, motherboards are mostly all the same. It's all, you know, but then you've got the fact that I chose a modular case, which was a horrible idea, apparently. And so it's all of that, and then, you know, the whole live aspect of it, and so I'm trying to hurry, I'm trying to do it right, and in the end, that just ends up screwing me. So I see some people are unsubscribing, and I do apologize. That stinks. I will say that while this is a sad and pathetic attempt at building a PC, especially since I do know what I'm doing, believe it or not, the issue really is just that everything kind of screwed up early, and that just made me more nervous because I was already nervous about this to begin with, and then to top it off, everything making me nervous, and then I'm doing new things like here, crap, hold on, let me actually put it right here. I'm doing new things like this, which is crazy complicated, and I had planned on, prior to doing it, reading the manual for this case, because a lot of people were saying that it's really confusing, horrible instructions, all these different things, and I was just like, oh crap. So I had planned on doing that until I realized I may not even be able to stream it. So anyway, so I do apologize. I will definitely say that I'm just a regular gamer, you know, just like everyone else. And I love technology. Love it. I love reading about it. I love learning about it. I love discussing, debating the future of it. All aspects of it. I always have ever since I was a young kid. But unfortunately, I mean, I get paid okay. I mean, I have a pretty decent job. I'm happy with it. I live on my own. But I'm not always building computers. I mean, I built one for my boss. That went swimmingly. That one took me like 40 minutes, I think. And that was after I hadn't done it for like 3 years. But I think it's just kind of everything like coupled on top of it, like doing it live, which was, I realized, was a horrible idea. But, you know, just everything kind of coming together the wrong way, and it just, anyway. So I do appreciate all the support, though, for sure. But let's get to it. Where in the world? I'm kind of moving everything as I go. Okay, that obviously. What the heck? And I'm misplacing everything. Oh, where are all the brackets? Okay. And then well, great, now I misplaced something. How about this, guys? Why don't we do like this? Why don't we What? Whoa. All the comments. Okay. We can... Well... Yeah, I've looked. Did I put it in the mother... I did not put it in the motherboard box, so... Alright. I think what I want to do is... Why don't we just do a conversation, and we can just kind of talk about everything, and... As sad as it is, I'm just going to go ahead and do it, film it, like I was talking about earlier. Yeah, I should do that. Anyway, does anybody have any questions? Let's just go with that. Any kind of anything, it doesn't matter. Technology-wise, do you have any questions? Why did I pick this part? Why did I pick that part? And I've got all my parts all over the place, and I'm just gonna take my time, do the build, and I'll film it, hopefully edit it all out to make it actually look good. And anyway, the PSU is just an older PSU that I had. It's just a mid-range PSU. It's the reason why I'm having to stream on this laptop, mostly because I could have just formatted a drive, installed, because I mean I have a couple drives, so I could just kind of formatted a drive, and I didn't even need to use the GPU. I could just use the output from the motherboard and could have streamed it this way, which actually would have been a lot easier. So basically I should have bought a PSU, another thing in hindsight. So I definitely should have bought that. Let's see. Computer repair and things like that. Honestly, it took a recent, like I've actually watched that market a little bit. It took a recent, like, just shot up for whatever reason. Maybe because of all the gaming kind of stuff that, you know, PC gaming has really been on the rise lately. That could have been a big reason why. But I don't see it going very far with the internet, with all the how-to videos, stuff like that. I just don't really see because it's expensive. A lot of people would just rather buy another computer rather than fix their old, you know, it's what I mean by it's expensive. It's expensive to pay somebody who's well-trained $80, $90 an hour, which really can be how high it goes up, especially for more of the business end, which on the business end is where it's like, okay, we have a server where I work, and we're almost definitely going to be going completely online with it. We're not going to have a local server at all anymore, and I definitely see where the whole cloud, I don't really like that term, but regardless, it's what everybody knows it as. The whole cloud computing thing is where things are probably going, and they have their own teams fixing it. And we have someone come in, and it's a good bit of money, and I just don't see it. Eventually it will all move to that, in my opinion. So there's just not a lot. Let me see. Let's see. I just don't really see PC repair and all of that being an actual business for very long. Okay, Mickey asks if I have any information on Ethereum miners GPU pricing. I don't. It does seem like in my last video, it certainly seems like the pricing is going down, but I don't know. I don't know how rapidly it's going to. I mean, like I said, I mean, that's why I'm still going to be using a GTX 660, is because it's still really high, but it is going down, and it should continue that trend. At least I hope. The biggest fear is that there are other potential ones that will explode just like Ethereum, and that's an issue. I forget what it's called, but there's one that definitely looks promising, and it may explode. And if general compute GPUs are really good at it for a short period of time, the whole trend will start over again. So That's why I'm hopeful in them pushing mining specific GPUs, because they realize GPU manufacturers. I mean, listen, it's just like everybody started buying AMD, and a lot of people were trying to say, hold on, stop. This like jump, because everyone realized what was going on. So a bunch of people jumped on AMD stock, and everybody's trying to say, just relax. This is not their this can't. It's not sustainable. This is not their normal consumers that purchase this. They're gonna buy it for a short period of time as this is up, and then they're gonna sell. And the thing is, that's why I think that's one thing that is kind of cool about the market, is that when it does become completely not viable to use just traditional GPU, when that actually ends up happening, what's going to happen is you're not just going to see a price drop. You're going to see a price drop drastically, probably well below MSRP, because now you've got tons of people who invested in these and are now trying to offload them to get their initial investment back, because oops, it's done now. So whenever you have an influx in a market like that, just like when you have an influx in demand, whenever you have an influx in supply, I mean, it's all supply and demand. So whenever you have an influx in demand, things sell out and the value goes up. If you've got something and a lot of people want it, the value of that something you hold goes up drastically. But when that goes down, and it'll happen really fast, is what'll more than likely happen with it, there's all of a sudden going to be too much supply, not enough demand. That brings the price down. So I'm hoping it'll eventually go below MSRP, because the new market has to compete with the used market, essentially. And with everyone trying to sell it used, they're going to lower their prices more and more to try and just offload this stuff, because it's just money sitting there doing nothing, value sitting there doing nothing. So anyway, a really long-winded way of answering that, basically. Basically, I don't know when, but when it does, it will probably be really good. And it'll probably bring prices down to a significantly lower level than when it even started. So yes, RGB, this is a big common misconception. RGBs drastically improve performance on, no, I'm just kidding, somebody, anyway. It's cheaper. The X52, it's cheaper. That's why I really didn't even want to spend the 150. I was back and forth between the Kraken and Corsairs. The Corsair was like 100. The Kraken was a 150. I'm like, I'm literally spending $50 for RGB right now, is what I'm doing. But I was just like, oh, it's so sexy. It looks so awesome. And it's going to be a backdrop in a lot of my videos and any kind of reviews and things like that. So, okay. And I finally clicked. I mean, I was sitting at the screen on Newegg just like, what do I want to do? It's $50. And I did it. So, the last thing I wanted to do was spend any more than that. Arib Jamal said it was sad that Vega wasn't meant for a lower end mid-range market. The thing is, they have the lower end mid-range market. That's the RX 500, and it how do I put it? The lower end market, I mean, that's what that is. Vega is really intended for the high end, and I don't like that they've split up their naming schemes like this. It's I don't personally think it's smart, but regardless, they have, and with it comes the confusion that you see now with a lot of people going, well, I want a 1060 Vega. Well, that's the 580, and I know it's completely different, and with the naming scheme probably going to be, which I I really haven't had a chance to look and see if they've revealed anything before the SIGGRAPH announcement and everything. But a lot of rumors are pointing to, like, this one person said it was like Vega 64, Vega 56 or something, and like different, what it looks like it's going to be. It looks like there's probably going to be a water cooled one and an air cooled one, and possibly a dual one, possibly dual Vega, and not dual in the sense of Infinity Fabric or anything like that, creating essentially a single GPU. So let's see. Yeah, exactly. Cal put it. He said low-end Vega would cannibalize the mid-range market AMD cards. It's true. It would. I mean, they just released it, which still to this day, I mean, I really like AMD, but I don't think that was the best move at all, because exactly what I said would happen. You had a ton of people going, wait, is this Vega? Vega sucks. Well, it's not Vega, unfortunately, and it's barely any better than the 480. I mean, it I don't know. It wasn't even like a better die on. I mean, it was, but you normally get a lot more performance than what we got. I mean, the difference between the 580 and 480 is pretty much completely negligible. And we're talking, it also consumes more power. So yeah, it's higher clocked, but it consumes more power. So it's an overclocked 480. I mean, personally, in my opinion. So. M-Strict, I had it all set up just to let you know. I'm kind of just answering questions right now. Unfortunately, my desk space and everything is kind of in disarray. I've got all this stuff down here, and I've already spent so much time. I had it all done and then realized, what the heck am I doing? What am I thinking? The back plate. Anyway, it's just sad. Like, just got nervous. To be honest, guys, 99% of this was that I like for everything to go perfect. I'm a perfectionist through and through. And a lot of people are saying, like, you don't need the PSU held on that tight or things like that. I saw a couple essentially saying that in the chat. I don't like to do that. I like to do everything like perfectly. And that's not an excuse at all, but what happened was I planned on this being 1080p. I went out, I bought a new thing so I could have the two different setups, you know. Here, I guess I should probably switch back. So to have the two different setups going, and kind of had everything planned out. And then about an hour before, we were doing some tests for the stream and realized that my laptop can't handle 1080 at all. Not even slightly. I mean, I was looking at 99, 98% CPU usage, basically 100%. I mean, it was 100% because I dropped it down to 720p and it was doing the same thing. So, I was freaking out about that. I'm trying to get it the best quality that I can at somewhat smooth FPS. And so I freaked out about that. Then I look, it's 1 o'clock. Great, I've got to start. So in that hour, actually like hour and a half, almost 2 hours, I planned on doing tons of other things because I was working on some other stuff that I didn't plan on doing before I realized that the stream wasn't working. So I was planning on making sure that because I know that I can kind of get nervous, and I was planning on making sure that I had like a set order. Don't forget this, because I know certain things that I'll forget during a build, and I'll just go and, oh crap. But when you're doing it live, you can't really do that. So basically, it started bad, and whenever it started bad, that made me more nervous. And then I just psyched out, and I'm trying to hurry, and then as I'm trying to hurry, I'm screwing things up, which ends up taking longer, and then I'm trying to hurry to fix that, and I'm trying to move on to something different, so it can be a little bit more interesting, and it all just went to crap. So what I'm basically doing is, and also some people donated, and just the fact that this just was just sad. And I'm really sorry. If you donated, guys, like, and you would like your money back, come to me and I'll send it via PayPal or something, because I definitely appreciate that, and I certainly don't want to lose any subscribers over what I planned on being pretty awesome turning out just horribly. But so yeah, if you did donate and you felt like, you know, what the heck, I get it, and I will seriously give you your money back. Just message me on Discord or something and we can talk about it. So, but yeah, definitely some good questions, and I am sorry. That's really all I can say. I wasn't as prepared as I wanted to be, and it ended up totally screwing me over. So there's plenty more things that I need to do. I need to find the stupid, like, I don't, like, anyway. And the next biggest reason is because I got the Core P3, and that was a horrible decision as far as doing a live build like this, especially since it's completely modular. Everything is completely different from a traditional case. I mean, I could have done the build in a third of the time with that, but there's I have to screw things in just to attach the GPU. So, but anyway, thanks everyone for coming. What I'll do is, like I said, if you did pay for Super Chat, thank you so much. It was really nice. But if you feel that you were cheated or something, because I didn't finish the build like in front of everyone, then I will definitely give you your money back for that. So anyway, thanks so much, guys. I will try and record a lot more of this so I can kind of edit it and make it look nice and do it for all of you. But okay, I do appreciate it, and have a good one.